We went to the Foxborough Country Club.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday, April 18th Selectmen's meeting. I'll read the agenda. 7 o'clock, we'll have citizens input. 7:05, Dan Brennan from Starbucks Corporation, approval of a common vic license and a 7-day entertainment license. 7:15, Jesse Enos, George Bell, public hearing, MPS, NCAA lacrosse for 2017 NCAA Men's and Women's Lacrosse Championship. 7:25, again, Jesse Enos, George Bell, public hearing, NPS, for the Metallica concert. Doc, one of your favorites. 7:35, we'll have the capstone project from Northeastern, a little presentation. 8:15, we'll sign the annual town meeting warrant. 8:25, Selectmen's update. 8:35, Town Manager's update. 8:45, Assistant Town Manager's update, and we have a bunch of action items tonight. So, Mary Beth, will you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. 7 o'clock. Is anybody here for citizens input? Nobody? Okay. We'll take the 7:05 a little early. Dan Brennan, are you here?
Hello, my name's Dan Brennan. I handle permits and licenses for Starbucks. We have a new store that we're going to be starting on in Forbes Crossing. It's a freestanding drive-through Starbucks coffee. It'll have 33 interior seats, 14 exterior seats. Proposed hours are 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. It might be a little less than that, but generally speaking, that's the max that we typically would ask for. I think the developer is still under construction over there, so we have our building permit, but we wouldn't start construction for about another 6 weeks or so at least.
Right around June 1st.
Yeah. It'd probably take about 6 weeks to build it out.
So you're looking at sometime in August opening?
Yeah.
I'll open up to questions on the board. Anybody have questions for Mr. Brennan?
The only question I had is, the only entertainment is just the
Just the
playing
music.
throughout the
Yeah.
store?
Yeah, no live entertainment or anything.
And it's 7 days a week, right?
Yeah.
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 How many pages here? And this pad site was part of the approved site plan approval?
Yeah.
Snow Farm. Not the pad site.
Are all of the Starbucks owned by the company and not franchises?
Most of them are. Worldwide, they have like 5,000 stores corporate owned, but then they have some that are in Targets or Barnes and Noble. There's a select few that are licensed stores,
Okay.
but there's not too many of those. Mostly just corporate ran.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
No.
Motion?
Move to approve the common victualler license in a 7-day, separately or together, okay?
We can do it together.
Yeah. Move to approve the common victualler license and a 7-day entertainment license for the Starbucks Corporation.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Welcome to Foxborough.
Thanks.
Officially a Starbucks community.
Mhm.
No.
He was happy that went quick.
Good, some action items.
Okay. Let's skip the committee ones for now.
Right.
And we'll go right to, move to approve the nomination of Sue Thibodeau as Inspector of Animals, expiring 4/30/18.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye. Move to reappoint William G. Keegan Jr. as a Municipal Hearings Officer, expiring on 5/1/2018.
Second.
Motion made, second. Under discussion. Can you explain what a municipal hearings officer does?
Well, you're basically, in the event that there is a hearing required for any kind of a local violation of, say, a fire violation or like a code violation, and they want to hold a public hearing, I can actually hold a hearing.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move to approve the 17th Annual Foxborough Against Diabetes Road Race on Saturday, June 3rd, 8 a.m. to noon.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye. Move to approve 6 one-day beer and wine licenses for May 25th to 30th, 2017 for the NCAA Lacrosse Championship Fan Festival.
Second.
Let's hold off on this one,
Okay.
just because we have to approve the actual event first.
Is that further down?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
that's-
sorry
That's in the
about that.
public hearing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's right, I knew I saw it somewhere. We'll skip that one. Move to approve an early opening of liquor license hours beginning at 11 a.m. on May 14th for Mother's Day for the Renaissance Hotel at Patriots Place.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move to approve a one-day beer and wine license for Saturday, May 13th for Maureen Hancock, a spirit medium.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye. Move to install equipment on utility company pole number 19-2 located on property at South Street, the Booth Playground, and to access the pole for the purpose of installing and maintaining equipment for Verizon.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye. Move to approve 2 coin-operated pool table licenses for the Foxborough VFW Site 2626 to expire 5/1/2018.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Move to approve 1 non-coin-operated billiard pool table for the America's Best Value Inn to expire 5/1/2018.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move to approve 2 coin-operated pool table licenses for Rally Point Inn and Pub to expire 5/1/2018.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move to approve 1 coin-operated pool table license for Waxy O'Connor's to expire 5/1/2018.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye. Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $1,000 to Veteran Services for the Iraq and Afghanistan War Memorial from Virginia Coppola. Sorry.
Second.
Motion made, second, and very nice, Jenny. Thank you. Much appreciated. All those in favor?
Aye. Move to approve a gift donation in the amount of $1,000 to Veteran Services for the Iraq and Afghanistan War Memorial from Christina and William Belanger.
Second.
Second. Thank you, Tina and Bill. Very generous. All those in favor?
Aye. Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $25 to Veteran Services for the Iraq and Afghanistan War Memorial from David and Ellen Bierce.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye. Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $1,500 to Veteran Services for Veterans Transportation from Lawrence W. Foster, Post 93.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $25,000 to Veteran Services for the Iraq and Afghanistan War Memorial from the Lawrence W. Post 93, American Legion, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 6262.
Second.
Motion made, second, and under further discussion. This check was presented to the board at our last meeting, but we never formally actually accepted the donation, so that's why we're doing it today. Very, very generous. It's much appreciated. All those in favor?
Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $25 to Veteran Services for the Iraq and Afghanistan War Memorial from Richard Roby.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $100 to Veteran Services for the Iraq and Afghanistan War Memorial from Walter and Nancy Harrington.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $820 to the Council on Aging for programs and activities. $120 is for the Tai Chi from Friends of Foxborough Seniors, and $700 is from Steward Healthcare.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $120 to the Council on Aging for art supplies from the Taylor School PTO.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $135 to the ACO for animal control services from the Foxborough Animal Hospital.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, most of those done. A little bit ahead of schedule. Bill, you want to do your town manager update real quick?
I don't have a lot to give, they can give you this week.
Good, perfect timing. You got 2 minutes.
Well, we got a lot we're working on, but right now, there's, again, we just finished up the warrant review with the Finance Committee this past, the AdCom this past week. They made their final recommendations, so we're finalizing the warrant. That'll be printed and be ready for town meeting. Just remind everybody the town meeting is in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from last night. So at the high school, right here at this location, in the auditorium, of course. And then the other thing was we're getting ready to, getting folks to start pack up their boxes and get ready to move. Building is really coming along well. So they're doing some of the early work on our building before they do the demolition. We're preserving some of the items, the historical items, of course, that people have asked for. And we did set aside some chairs and tables as well.
For the lane,
Yeah,
thank you.
for the lane property as well. So we'll continue to have that. And then the other items that we don't, we're gonna actually go through some sort of a auctioning process that we'll try and, so we don't, there's still some items we're gonna take with us, but a lot of the stuff is, we're gonna probably send to an auction facility and go through a 30B process. Other than that, there's been a lot of things going on, but not stuff that need to report tonight. But other than that, I think we're in good shape. I just want to make sure everybody had a good Easter, nice holiday week. It's a good school week off for everybody, so the weather should be good. Weather's finally getting warm, so baseball season is upon us.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Perfect timing. 7:15, Jesse Enos, George Bell. Doc, you want to read, when they come up, read the public hearing?
pulling it up. The Board of Selectmen, acting as the local licensing authority pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 181, and Section 183A, and Chapter 136, Section 4, Town of Foxborough Revised General Bylaws, Chapter 229, and also Stadium Rules and Regulations, will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, April 18th, 2017, beginning at 7:15 p.m. in the Foxborough High School Media Center, South Street, to review the application submitted by NPS LLC for the 2017 NCAA Men's and Women's Lacrosse Championships. All events are proposed for Gillette Stadium. Application for the events is on file at the office of the Selectmen. All interested parties are welcome to attend.
Welcome.
Thank you. Jesse Norris with Gillette Stadium.
Phil Buttafuoco with Gillette Stadium.
George Bell, Stadium Advisory Committee.
So we're honored to be in front of you tonight. This is the fourth time that we've hosted the NCAA Lacrosse Championships. We hosted in 2008 when we set attendance records, 2009, 2012, and now 2017. And we're also slated to host the event next year in 2018. Why I say honored, one, it's a national championship for college lacrosse, but also we bid against the likes of Denver, Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and all to bring this event here to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough and certainly New England. Thus far, we have roughly 51% of the fans are from New England and 49% are from around the country and 6 international countries. So it really is a national event. So we are bringing a lot of tourists here to Foxborough and to Massachusetts. So we're honored to do so. The event is scheduled for Friday through Monday of Memorial Day weekend. It is the first time ever in the history of the event that the women's event is combined with the men's event. This is really a trial run by the NCAA to see how things work from their perspective of mixing the two events, and also from the fan perspective if it helps bring more families and all, especially the families that have both boys and girls playing the game. So we are excited to be that trial run. The event, the games are scheduled on Friday for 5 and 7:30, and those are the two women's semifinal games. On Saturday, the men's Division I semifinals are noon and 2:30. Sunday is a busy day, a triple header. The women's championship game is at 11 o'clock. The Division II men's championship game is at 2 o'clock, and the Division III men's game is at 5 o'clock. And then on Monday, the Division I men's championship game is scheduled for 1 o'clock. Gates are scheduled to open an hour before each of the game times, the first game time each day. Parking lots are scheduled to open 4 hours prior to the first game time. It is a very family-oriented event. There'll be a lot of kids here, a lot of families, moms and dads. There will be a lot of tailgating. People really circle this date on their schedule, and they come and tailgate with their friends and all, so it is a very, very family-friendly event. The NCAA will have a fan festival in lot 22, basically the West Club lot, for the kids and for the families. We will activate a reunion village, basically a tent hospitality area next to the fan festival for youth organizations, colleges, and others to gather before and after the games from their own little tailgating area. Patriot Place will activate and help us promote the event in advance of the weekend and also throughout the weekend. From an attendance standpoint, we're looking on Friday roughly 12,000. On Saturday, 30,000. Sunday combined is about 25,000. That'll be more of a flow with the 3 games. And then Monday, we're looking at 30,000. We are not planning at all to open the 300 level, so we're looking at really the 100 level, the 2 clubs, and potentially the 200 level based on where ticket sales are. And we discussed that with the 2 chiefs during the advisory committee meeting. Alcohol is planned to be sold in the clubs right now, but the NCAA is also approved, and we're working things out right now with the NCAA to sell alcohol throughout the venue as we normally would for an event. So we should plan on that, certainly. We will be communicating with all the ticket buyers through the NCA and through our means to educate them as to traffic, parking, operational issues, because we do recognize that a lot of the fans that don't live here certainly are not regulars at Gillette Stadium, and even those in New England are not necessarily regulars here. So we will be communicating, we have been communicating with them about the clear bag policy, about parking regulations, about traffic details, et cetera. So we think that that should go over very smoothly as we get closer to the event. So, George, am I missing anything?
No, again, we reviewed it, and, you know, we felt, for you to recommend for approval.
Any questions from the board?
Just on the comments, I know Mr. Butterfuco's worked for years with the lacrosse and supported Foxborough Youth Lacrosse, Foxborough High School Lacrosse, and I know how hard it is to bring the NCAA back, and I know you guys worked hard, so I thought it was a very complete application. Wish you guys luck.
Wonderful event. Been every year since
Right.
you've had it, and the first year my son was able to be a ball boy on the sidelines too, and that was a lot of fun for him, and just a great environment, great games. It'll be interesting to see the Division II, III, and girls added on this year too.
Just a general question. If you were more successful and you're thinking it has to go up to the 300 level, what's that process? You haven't had to do that yet, right?
No, not at all. I mean, we would have to be over 42,000 from a ticket sales standpoint at that point, and we
don't
don't
think
we
you'd
don't
get there?
anticipate that based on the last few years of history.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
The ticket sales are basically by the day. You would buy a ticket, and that would give you admission for the whole day.
Yeah. So, well, actually, just yesterday the NCAA started selling single sessions. So right now you can buy an all-session ticket for the entire weekend, or you can buy a single session, basically single day ticket. So if you wanted to only come Friday or only come Saturday, you could buy that ticket now too.
But that'll let you see all the games throughout the course of that day.
Correct. Yep.
Any other questions? Being it is a public hearing, is anybody here from the audience that has any questions or comments? Anybody? Nope. Okay. Motion to close the public hearing?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Move to approve the application submitted by NPS for the 2017 NCAA Men's and Women's Lacrosse Championships.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
You might as well stay right
Cool.
there.
Let me just get out of this one and pull up the next one.
Actually, we're a little ahead of schedule on this public hearing, so why don't we do the action item for the,
That goes with that.
yeah,
Good idea.
the Foxborough Realty Associates.
Number 5.
Where was that? I'm sorry.
Number 5.
5.
The action items.
Oh, okay. Oh, I can't pull it up. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just lost it. Technology at its finest.
Why can't I pull it up?
Here, right here. 10:05.
Oh, okay. Move to approve a 6 one-day beer and wine licenses for May 25th through 30th, 2017 for the NCAA Lacrosse Championships Fan Festival.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Sorry about that.
Okay, 7:25, Jesse Enos, George Bell, public hearing, MPS LLC, Metallica concert. Wanna open the public hearing?
Yep, I'm just going into that now. Okay, Board of Selectmen, acting as the local licensing authority pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 181, and Section 183A, and Chapter 136, Section 4, Code of the Town of Foxborough, Chapter 229, and also Stadium Rules and Regulations, will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, April 18th, 2017, beginning at 7:25 p.m. in the Foxborough High School Media Center, 120 South Street, to review the application submitted by NPS LLC for Metallica World Wired Tour. This event is proposed for Gillette Stadium. Application for this event is on file at the Office of Selectmen. All interested parties are welcome to attend.
Good evening.
Again,
Again.
Jessinos with Gillette Stadium. Here before you to request our first concert of the season, Friday, May 19th, Metallica. We are requesting 2 p.m. lot time, 4 p.m. gate time, and right now a scheduled start time of 6 p.m. The show went on sale at the end of the winter. It sold incredibly well. There was a lot of demand in the market. We anticipate it eventually selling out, which is right a little bit over 50,000, about 51,000 tickets. Tickets range in price from $60 to $150. The floor for this show is entirely GA, so standing room only. There's no seats on the floor. We had, in 2009, we had the same setup for U2. We did 2 dates in 2009 with U2 with an entirely GA floor, so it's not something that we haven't executed successfully in partnership with our public safety officials. We are going to continue to use the same security procedures that we've been implementing over the years. Mags at every gate, stadium clear bag policy. Last month, we received the Homeland Security Safety Act certification for our venue, which we're very proud of. Something that we worked very hard for throughout the NFL season, and so part of that process was also upgrading our overall operation, some of the space that our public safety officials work out of at the stadium, communication systems. So it's evolving. It's something that we're working on right now. Mark Briggs is working closely with Chief Hatfield and Chief Baker on that. For this show, what you see in your application is 2 acts, but the band has actually decided to do a battle of the bands in 5 different locations, and Foxborough is one of them. So I believe it'll be determined next week, but they've been running a contest looking for a local band. So a local band will have a small set at the very beginning, right at 6 o'clock when the gates open, which is a nice element for a band as well known, as famous as Metallica, to bring a local act on is a pretty cool experience. So they've been out in Europe and they've been in Central and South America for most of the year so far. They will have 3 stadium dates before they get to us, one of which is MetLife Stadium. So we'll certainly be talking to them to see if they encounter anything unforeseen, any obstacles, anything that they see. We've got a great relationship with them, venue to venue, and from a public safety standpoint as well. We share communication, we share information with each other readily, so we'll certainly see if there's anything that we don't anticipate that they see in their dates. It's always nice when we have that opportunity. It doesn't always work out that way. We'll be using the taxi service. We'll be operating the taxi stand at the back of Lot 5 in our East Club lot like we have for previous years. It's worked out well. Our North Street neighbors have been happy with it. Our fans are happy with the option. And then this year, we are going to be operating Uber Lot in Lot 15. So we piloted the program this fall throughout the Patriots season, and it was really well received. So if you're using a ride share service, you can drop off and pick up in Lot 15. And it just gives patrons another option getting to and from the event. As of right now, we don't anticipate the event going anywhere close to the town curfew, so it should be done. The run of show right now is well in advance of the 11:15 curfew, so that's our relief. I think. I don't know, did I leave anything out, George?
No, it's a Friday night, so, you'll have commuter traffic, and, that to deal with, but we felt it was a early start to try and, get people in a bit earlier, hopefully they'll deal with that. No, the other thing is, Bill Caspara he really likes working with Al Dotterly, the sound production manager, and Live Nation has agreed to use him, so that, that's a benefit in terms of, if there's any potential sound issues. He's a real advocate of working with us, and just in general, the Stadium Advisory Committee recommend it to the Selectmen for approval.
Great. Questions from the board?
None?
Questions? Public hearing, any questions from the audience? Yes.
Barry, do you know Foxborough reporter? Do you know what the local band is going to be yet, or has that been determined?
Nope, they're still voting online. I think that the voting closes on Tuesday, the 25th.
Excellent, very good. And it'll be one local act.
One local act, yes.
All right, excellent. That's all.
Does that mean no more questions at the end of the meeting?
Anything to suggest.
Okay, seeing no other questions from the audience, can I have a motion?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made, second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Move to approve the application submitted by NPS LLC for the Metallica Worldwide Tour.
Second.
Motion made, second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
So a little ahead of schedule. We have a presentation tonight by Northeastern University in their capstone project. Dan, if you want to come up. Are you all set up, or do you need to get set up?
We're ready.
Okay. Just to give everybody a brief background, the Economic Development Committee actually reached out to participate in the capstone project. And what the capstone project is students in the School of Public Policy and Urban Affairs at Northeastern University complete their degree requirements by participating in a group capstone project in conjunction with and in service to a public or nonprofit sector partner. Students work in a 3 to 5 person team over the course of 15 weeks, supervised by faculty in the school, and conclude with presentations to the client, meaning us, the town. This year, the project that was selected was Route 1 as part of the Civil Engineering Capstone program. The focus of the design is parcel development on the west side of Route 1 and the Route 1 transportation corridor, and hopefully they'll be identifying opportunities to make the roadway more permeable, as well as approaches that may calm traffic and address game day traffic. Is that right?
That's great.
Okay. So I get an A on my.
Well, we're not going to say that just yet.
So we haven't seen this, so this is a first run at the presentation, so.
Sure. So, Mr. Chair, if I may, my name's Dan Delaski, and I'm at Northeastern. I've been there since 2009. Board members, town manager, and Paige Duncan in the back, as well as citizens and interested parties. First of all, I want to thank you for having us and supporting us for the last 14 weeks. In terms of our home, we're in the College of Engineering. So public policy, we live in the College of Engineering. And just to give you some background, we're in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. And since 2010, what we've done as part of the capstone program is in over 20 towns, we've done 34 projects, real-world projects, where we reach out to the communities and say, listen, is there something that we can do in your community that might help revitalize a certain area of your downtown, a corridor that you have particular interest in that hasn't been touched for 30, 40, 50 years or so. We've worked as far south and east as Martha's Vineyard. We've worked in a neighboring town of Mansfield. We've worked as far north as North Andover. We've done several projects in Boston. And what we do, and when you think about Northeastern, is we're unique because we've got the co-op program. So most students are on campus for 5 years. They go through 3 6-month co-ops off campus, working for contractors, working for designers. They come back to campus. They realize that in civil and environmental engineering, you can do a lot of things. In my area, we do transportation. So they get to senior year, and they say, listen, I want to do transportation as my career path. They select that, and they come and they take this capstone class. We basically take about 30 students this semester, and we break them down into smaller consulting firms, and they look at real-world projects, one being Foxborough this year. We're also up in Wakefield, Mass., and we're doing 2 in Boston. just to give you a little bit more background, in 2014 we did a project in Mansfield, Mass. Mansfield, about a year and a half ago, received a $2.4 million grant from the state in the form of a MassWorks program to build our project that we designed right through this program back in 2014. So these projects do have legs. People have used them before for grants and the like. And tonight, they're here to present to you a project from the perspective of Route 1 to make traffic better, not only for regular days, but also for game day traffic. And so I'm going to present Jonathan Lewis and his team. They're going to talk for about 20 minutes or so to give you some background and ideas that they came up with. A couple of things I want to caution you about is, first of all, nobody likes to sit in traffic. And so when you think about this, think about it from that perspective, and also think about it from a buffet. When you go to a buffet, we typically don't eat everything at the buffet. You walk through a buffet line, and there are things that you like, things that you don't like. So you're going to see a lot of ideas up here tonight that you may not agree with. Well, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Take a seat back and think about, geez, I could see part of this project working. I could see all of this project working. So I ask you to indulge the students, indulge myself, and let's see what they have to offer for the next 20 minutes. So I'm going to give you to Jonathan Lewis, who's the project manager. He's led a team of 5 students. They've visited Foxborough, and they've spent a lot of time on Route 1. They've talked to a lot of people. They've worked with the craft group. They've worked with Paige Duncan, and they're here to report their findings as well as give you some ideas and suggestions for moving forward. So Jonathan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So as Dr. Delasky said, my name is Jonathan Lewis. I'm the project manager. We are JBM Engineering Solutions, and we are the capstone group working on the Route 1 Transportation Improvement Project in the town of Foxborough. Down. So this is the project team. Jonathan Lewis, Brian Wire to my left. We have Matt Demers, Mark Corvey, Max Muller, and Justin Kelsey back there. And as Dr. Delasky said, at Northeastern we have the co-op program. So each of us have been able to do about a year and a half worth of experience in the transportation design field, construction field. So we feel that with our knowledge, with our classroom experience, we have the ability to come up with a plan that we think would benefit all parties of the town of Foxborough. So as we all know, this is where Foxborough, Massachusetts is, the bordering towns of Foxborough, Boston, Providence, and the few around there, and then the interstates bringing fans to Gillette Stadium and Patriot Place. And this is a closer look at the project limits that we focused on. We have our northern limit, which is the Walpole town line. And this is the corridor that we worked with to our southern limit of the Rentham town line. And then we focused on the main intersections along the route that we then broke up into segments for further research. So we have the intersection with North Street, the Rodman overpass with Patriot Place, the P10 Patriot Place main entrance, the Bass Pro Drive intersection, and the East Main Street intersection. And then on the site right now, there's an existing commuter rail station that is only used for game days. And then adjacent to that, you have Gillette Stadium and Patriot Place. And then the focus of this, not only for game days, non-game days, but it's also for the future West Side development that the craft group has proposed. And we took a look at getting traffic into there and projections and that such. So who are we designing for? We're designing for, first and foremost, the citizens of Foxborough, Massachusetts. We took a look at the Foxborough master plan, and we looked at the identified growth nodes that was presented in there, and the one that we're focusing on is the Route 1 corridor. And then we want to bring a boulevard feel and roadway aesthetics to this area. Right now, it's just a concrete wasteland. You're not going there for a Patriots game. Just a lot of space, a lot of concrete. So we want to make the area look like a destination that Patriot Place and Gillette Stadium is. So we took that into account with our boulevard feel. And as well as the craft group with their future West Side development, we took into account, getting the traffic in and out of the development and the future projections, as well as, as Dr. Delasky said, no one likes sitting in traffic after a Patriots game, as well as the citizens of Foxborough don't like dealing with the traffic that runs through your town center for people taking cut-throughs to beat the traffic on Route 1. So all those were taken into consideration during this project. And now we'll pass it over to Brian Wire, and he will talk about the existing conditions of the project.
Thank you, John, and thank you for having us. Right here we have cross-section. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the roadway. This is north of the stadium, kind of pointing out how much area we had to deal with and some of the existing conditions. Over 70 feet wide with the 5 lanes there coming in and out, north and southbound, as well as 0 bicycle considerations or bike lanes, and then a little bit rundown in thin sidewalks that don't necessarily have a buffer or consideration that separates them from the traffic. We kind of looked at some things that exist. Here's another stop along the corridor that we were evaluating, and it shows the small bicyclists of where they're supposed to stay if they were riding down the road. So two lanes in for a bicyclist to be on Route 1 is not the considerations that a bicyclist would want as they're traveling, not the considerations that they would feel safe if they had. Also looking at some existing conditions, this picture was taken this month about pinch points and some of the difficulties in access for both handicap as well as event day, where there's high volumes of traffic trying to walk from lots along the corridor to the stadium and to events, and some of the difficulties that utilities and above ground obstacles have for people using the roadway. So these are some of the difficulties we looked at physically on the site, as well as evaluating some things related to the lanes going to and from Gillette Stadium on event days, and how there's the laborious process of laying down the cones and having diverted lanes going contraflow to how they normally would, with 5 going to the stadium and 1 going away. In that process, how to kind of expedite it and make it more efficient. We also wanted to key in some of the safety data that we were provided in looking at related to a fatal accident that was on our corridor from at the intersection East and Main Street in years past, as well as kind of general trends of crashes. We saw the angled and rear ends, a high proclivity of those types of accidents. And so we took a serious look at our intersections in a way to evaluate and limit these types of interactions and movements throughout the intersections. So we kind of looked on the right, you can see how much of our roadway would be able to fall under this type of improvement. I'm about to show a rendering of what we kind of have envisioned in a simplistic look of our boulevard feel. So this is a cross section south of the city, or south of Gillette, excuse me. And what we've kind of envisioned has a center median that is mountable and drivable on game day, but otherwise provides separation between the contrasting direction of traffic, as well as thinner, more narrow road lanes, as well as thinner shoulders, and improved sidewalks, space provided there, as well as green space. I will hand it off now to Matt to talk about some of our intersections that I had briefly mentioned.
Thank you, Brian. So this is the first intersection we're going to be talking about. It is the Patriot Place main entrance. So this is an existing picture of it. As you can see, it's a 3-prong intersection. It consists of 2 left turns into the main entrance off of Route 1. It also has 2 left turns out and 2 right turns out of the main entrance onto Route 1. So give a nice little rendering of what our new intersection looks like. Now this is incorporating the new west side development that is planned for the future. As you can see now, it's a 4-prong intersection. With the new intersection, it will have a left turn and a right turn into the west side development. It will also have a left turn, a through lane, and a right turn out. And now we're going to move to the next intersection, which is the East Main Street intersection. As you can see, there are a lot of driveway entrances and exits. We feel that with all of these points, that's a lot of turning to and from off the roadway that we think we could cut down on, because with more turns and more places to turn, that's going to lead to more accidents. There's also 2 illegal left turns that people often use. They make that turn when they're not supposed to. You're turning across 2 lanes of traffic traveling at 55, 65 miles an hour. It's a pretty dangerous turn, especially as you can see, it's not the cleanest of turns. They're making greater than a 90-degree turn, so it's not the safest of turns. So we'll go to our new intersection design. As you can see, we've closed off a lot of the driveway entrances, reducing the amount of turns along the roadway, and like making them more concentrated. So there will be less turns in different spots. They'll be more consistent. You can also see we've added crosswalks because the existing intersection has no crosswalks. There's no means to cross the street for pedestrians or bicyclists. And we're also creating it, turning it into a signalized intersection. With the signalized intersection, that will allow for these turns, these left turns to be made, as well as the right-hand turns legally. And with those turns, the reduction of delay for Main Street's current delay right now is the average about 50 seconds. And with the addition of a signalized intersection, it can be reduced to 5 seconds without impacting any further delay in any other streets or lanes. Moving further, why we think those left turns are necessary, or not necessary, but why people are trying to make them, is if you're coming down Route 1 going north, or going south, excuse me, and you're trying to go onto Route 140, say you're trying to go east on Route 140, instead of turning right onto East Street and looping all the way around, now instead you can just make that nice left-hand turn, and it reduces your travel time, as you can see, from 2 minutes and 24 seconds to 36 seconds. And it's a lot shorter, more direct of a trip. Vice versa, if you're traveling north on Route 1 and you would like to go west on Route 124, 140, excuse me, you can see it goes from 2 minutes and 18 second trip to 42 second trip. So with both of these turns able to happen, you greatly reduce your trip time. And as I mentioned before, that's the delay for the Main Street. It will get reduced with our signalized intersections. And now I'm going to pass it over to Mark to talk about event and game day innovation.
So kind of stepping away from our roadway design and just focusing on what happens during events and Patriots games in the area. We took a look at some ways that we could get maybe more vehicles off the road and ways to mitigate traffic situations. We're just going to start off with a quote here. When I looked up, half the stadium was gone when we were up 21 points early in the fourth quarter, which I wasn't so happy about. I know you can probably guess, but this quote was from Tom Brady. Clearly he's upset with fans leaving the game early to skip out on the traffic that we have. So there's over 20,000 vehicles coming in and out of the stadium. We just kind of came up with some ideas to get some of these vehicles off the road and kind of ease the situation. So our special teams was what we called it. We took a look around other stadiums, what they were doing with the Broncos and the Ravens, kind of just get some ideas from them. Basically, we had general ideas of using transit and shuttle systems and upgrading existing commuter rail stations to make more options possible for people that didn't want to drive to the games, along with park and ride services. Just continue on here. After this, we took a survey. We had over 100 responses. So we generally asked how you felt about going to the game, about traffic conditions, and obviously 63% of people were dissatisfied with the conditions. We also asked the likelihood you would use a park and ride service where you would drive to a location near the stadium and just board a shuttle to get to the game, and 66% of people responded positively to that. We also asked in general how people thought about prepaid parking services where you'd pay for your parking before getting to the lots to make that entry process a lot quicker. So after getting all these responses, we just kind of had the idea of making an online database. So say you were going to the game, you purchase your tickets, you come onto our website here, enter your address. Say we're coming from Justin's Place here in West Roxbury. You'd put that in, hit next. You'd come up with this map here. So basically, it's showing you the blue route there would just be what would happen if you were to drive. A, B, C, and D would be our other options that I talked about previously. So it would just tell you where to go to access these options here. And I'm going to let Justin jump into the details of all our upgraded systems that we had the ideas for.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So as Mark was saying, up here we've got our different options that we came up with, our alternative modes of transportation, which the big focus there, reducing vehicles on the roadway to ease congestion. So you've got Hyde Park, which is the commuter rail option, the Dedham Corp, which is the existing current game train option, Big Y, which would be park and ride, and then obviously driving into Gillette Stadium there at the bottom. So first we're going to go ahead, click on our option. Am I going the wrong way with this thing?
Down.
Down? Oh, jeez. All right. Just click it for me. So commuter rail shuttle is our first option. Thank you, Max. So we'd go ahead, click on that. We're calling this our goal line service. So right now, if I was coming from West Roxbury, I could, if you see here on the inbound, I could go over to any one of those stations. Let's say I want to go into Walpole and get off there. Maybe I'd go to Dedham Court or Reedville or whatever. I'd get on the commuter rail train there, take the train to Walpole, and then from there get on a shuttle service from Walpole Station to Gillette. Same thing if I was coming somewhere along the Providence line, get on one of those stations, take the train to Mansfield, take a shuttle direct to Gillette. All right? So that pretty much sums up that option. Our game train option. So currently, as we're showing here, we have the train from Boston and TF Green to the south with the stops in between is the current service for the game train. What we're proposing here is the possibility of upgrading the game train option to go out to Worcester. This would involve having stops at Worcester Union Station and Framingham. The lines are already there, they're existing, so you'd be able to get on the train in Worcester from Western Mass, go on the Worcester main line, get on the Framingham secondary, and take it right down to Gillette. And we feel like that would reduce a large amount of vehicles coming from that direction as well. The next option that we came up with was our Patriots Ride option. So going with the theme here, we've got all the Patriots colors up there. You get the red, the white, what's supposed to be blue, and silver. And what we did here was, as part of our survey, we kind of asked people, would they like to use a shuttle service? If they did, how much would they like to pay? What were they comfortable riding time-wise? So that started off about 20 miles out, and then once the responses came back, we found people wanted somewhere between a 10-minute shuttle ride. So we condensed everything down in, and these are the locations that we came up with that would be within a 10 to 15-minute ride. So if I was coming from my house, I would purchase my tickets for the park and ride. I'd travel down to possibly the Big Y supermarket. From there, I'd get on the Patriots Ride shuttle. The shuttle would then take me off of Route 1 on a designated shuttle route that had priority transit signaling on the bus. So the bus would come up to a signal. The signal would sense the bus was there. The light would change to green or keep the light on green for the bus to pass through, and the bus would continue until it got Gillette Stadium, dropped off the occupants, and then went back along the same route. Kind of keeping the buses from getting caught up in the traffic of the event type conditions. See, I told you it's not me.
Yeah, it's going on here.
Yeah, just click the button. All right, so our final option is the Park at Gillette option. And Max is going to take that over for you and tell you about his drive into Gillette for the game.
So currently, when you come to the stadium, there are currently cones that get placed along the roadway. The stadium has a contract with a local contractor that removes cones and moves cones in and out along the roadway. But what we're going to do is we're going to totally reinvent and revolutionize the way you get to the game if you drive. So the one way we do that is what you're going to do is you're going to buy your ticket and you're going to purchase your parking beforehand. And what it's going to tell you is once you input your location. So say I'm from Brookline, so I'm coming from Brookline. It's going to tell me which way to get here and what lot entrance I'm going to be in. So no longer I'm going to have to look for P10, P11, all those lot entrances. What I'm going to do is, what the system's going to enable me to do, it's going to tell me what lane to get, how to get there, what lane to get off, and what lane to get onto when I'm coming to the stadium. So, for example, I'm coming from Brookline. I'm going to be arriving at the Brewski entrance. It tells me exactly what lot I need to get into. It also tells me what lane I need to get into. I need to get into the Brewski lot lane. And so we're going to zoom right into the roadway now. So now you see it's totally different than what you're used to now. Now when you go out there, you see cones all along the roadway. They denote the four going in and the one going out. What we have here is kind of the same feature, but no longer we have cones. No longer do they have to switch cones during and after the game. What you see now is you have these LED pavement markings. There's going to be over 4,000 of them on the roadway, and they're controlled by a central controller. And what they enable us to do is swap the function of the lanes during and before the game. So let's say I got off the roadway now, and it's going to tell me I want to go to the Brewski lot. I'm going to get into the middle lane there, that brown lane. That is our new groove concrete median that Brian mentioned earlier. This is only used during game days and major events when the stadium needs it. Otherwise, this lane is not used. This lane also serves as a kind of a dual purpose, kind of breaks up the monotony of the asphalt and enables us to kind of enhance a little boulevard feel. That is also groove concrete, common in California, also good of drainage, helps with runoff, and we're going to have signs along the roadway to denote that you're not going to be able to use it. It's also double striped too. So as I said before, I'll get into the Brewski lot, and I'll follow that all the way down. We're going to have a series of VMS signs along the roadway, and what they're going to be able to do is tell you what lane to be in, and then we're also able to change the direction of those lanes by the VMS sign arrows. So it's a nice, easy way to change the lanes. You don't have to get out there with cones. There's 8 signs. There's 2 signs, one by 495, one by 95. Those don't have lane markings, but they tell you welcome to Gillette, kind of setting the tone of what you're going to see. But there's also 6 signs that take you to the stadium and will tell you what lot to be in. We also handle our Brewski lots. We're going to have lot entrances. You're going to know right away when you get off the highway, when you get on the Route 1, what lane you need to be in, and what entrance you're going to get into, so that expedites the process of getting people in and out of the stadium. Also, in the reverse, when we're leaving the stadium, the signs will also say, get in this lane for 95, get in this lane for 495, and so forth. And so as you see here, I would get into the middle lane there. You see that we have the red dots that denotes the traffic that's going the opposite direction. And it's just a nice way to have it all done. And then after the game, all those lanes will switch, and we'll have traffic flowing the other way. Oh yeah, just going to give a zoom-in version of lane control. Lane control is a big topic item now in the civil engineering industry. Managed lanes. This is a image from France. This company that we looked at to make these LED pavement markings actually make them right here in New England. They're completely American-made, American parts. Pretty cool. And what they are, they're just little LED pucks. So you see them at airports sometimes on the runways. This bridge is a good example of how they work. They could switch the direction of the lanes without having people out there. It's nice and safe. And then it's just another version of here how the managed lanes will work. Directed parking lanes, you're going to know right when you got off the highway what lane to go to, and you're going to be in the correct lane well before the lot. No more jockeying for position. It's just a nice, easy way to get to the facility. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Brian to conclude this.
Thank you very much, Max. Overall, we'd like to thank you guys for having us and considering our ideas. We're 6 local guys that have grown up going to events here at Gillette and enjoy the experience, but have noticed that things can improve. So we kind of applied our knowledge and some of the goals that Foxborough has for us as well and tried to put that together for a product for you guys. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to the project manager, Jonathan. Field any questions that anyone has. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Nice presentation.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
All right, you guys just threw a lot of stuff at us.
Yeah.
Information.
You said it was a buffet, right?
I'm full. What's for dessert? Well,
The implementation.
any questions from the board?
When you, the last segment there with the parking lots and the prepaid, did you guys take into consideration all of the satellite lots that are surrounding the stadium and off different roads?
So looking back at just quickly at the sign, we do take into account the private lots. So my experience of going to the games is I come from Providence, and I usually park, say, America's Best Value Inn. So I know that those lots are going to be on the left side. So, for example, here we have the private lots on the left side. Then we break it up as basically the rest of the lanes will be for craft group lots. And then as you get closer to the center of Patriot Place area, as the lanes spill into the parking lots, then we'll have a through lane that goes, because right now there is an existing through lane that interferes with my left turns going into the America's Best Value Inn. But yeah, we didn't focus so much on the private lots. We focused more on renaming the craft group lots and, you know, all the parking spots associated with that.
Okay. And then the only other question I had, and again, it was a very detailed presentation. You guys did great. On the shuttle, the park shuttle and ride there, have you guys reach out to Xfinity Center or Big Y or any of the others and propose this to them, or is this just all hypothetical?
Yeah, we have not done that extensive work yet. Okay. We've just kind of, just in survey, we kind of took the feel for locals going to games, where they come from, what they would want to see. You know, we found that most people want to take about a 10 to 20-minute ride to the stadium. We did research to see how many parking spots are at each location. But other than that, we haven't really reached out to these locations yet.
Right.
If I may, to that point, it's a very popular approach now to do shared parking. And so when you think about Xfinity Center, you know, in the fall, there aren't a lot of events that are occurring there.
Yeah.
And so the idea is, guess what? You know, this property is sitting vacant for 6 months or 8 months out of the year. Why not take the opportunity to park some vehicles there? You're seeing that a lot at mixed-use developments, where in the morning somebody might take a vehicle out, and that space is now available for a Wegmans or shopping during the day. And so shared parking and these uses that we're looking at are very popular. When you drive by shopping centers, a Big Y and something like that, and the only day of the year that they're busy or completely full is Black Friday or something like that. So there are opportunities. It's just a matter of capitalizing on the ones that are available. And again, shared parking is a new concept.
Yep.
Through the chair, phenomenal presentation. I mean, it
Thank
certainly opened up my eyes to the potential of what could be done there, and you guys did a phenomenal job. Aside from that, though, do you ever do a cost? What the cost of this is going to be, or is this just the idea? And
we did. So the final number is about 24 million.
It's about 24 million in today's dollars, and it goes up to about 30 million by 2027 dollars.
But a part of that 24 million is a structural group at Northeastern, structural engineering group. They're proposing a pedestrian bridge where the current crossing is, where the planters are, into Patriot Place from the P10 lot. So they gave us a placeholder of $10 million. Not too accurate, we're not sure, but so 24 million is our estimate right now.
if we wanted to eat everything at the buffet.
Yes.
Okay.
Full buffet. Yeah. Full buffet. Yeah.
Did you guys take into consideration the future development on the west side of Route 1 and the parking impact? What that would do to stadium events?
Yeah. So Craft Group gave us a plan. It was a MIPA document, and I think they said that parking would increase by 6 spots with the new west side development. So there's going to be no hit on number of parking spots offered, but with our ideas, we're actually. Sorry.
Do you want to show the reduction?
The what?
The reduction.
Oh yeah. Do you want? Can you pull up the graph? But so with our implementation of the park and ride, the commuter shuttle, and the like, our goal is to take vehicles off the road entirely. So we actually have a graph of that we're going to pull up, as we did a study, a statistical study of how many cars we thought would be taken off the road.
And that's through the other means of public transportation?
Correct. As well as we also proposed having one more train come from Boston. So current number of spots, you have 21,800. This is with an estimate of 3 people per vehicle. And with our park and ride, diverted by park and ride, we're estimating 1,000 vehicles to be diverted. The current commuter rail from Providence to Boston diverts 900 cars. So just to put that into comparison, I believe that's just for for a regular season game, because for the playoff game, they expand the trains by 3 cars each direction, according to the train conductor. And then the commuter rail shuttle, we estimated that it'd be 75% capacity with the regular Sunday service coming from South Station and Providence. And so we're estimating about 3,000 cars to be taken off the road with our options.
Speaking about the commuter rail, I thought it was a fascinating idea having a third train coming from Worcester. But if you know on game days, both the Boston and the Providence train meet in the middle, where would have you thought about where the Worcester train would go?
That is not something we thought about.
Okay.
In the early beginning, we were like playing around with ideas on how to expand the, like maybe add a track or something for eventual full-time service to.
Right, so the original plan was to have more of a multimodal facility there, so it would be kind of for the new commuter rail service expansion here. And so with that, it'd be a full 1,000-foot platform, kind of like if you've been to Boston, you see Yawkey Station at the New Balance, it'll be very similar to that. And so it'd be full 1,000 feet, it'd be an island platform with 2 tracks. So you'd be able to pull a track in, pull the train out, pull the train in, pull it out, and kind of go that way. But that we didn't, that was kind of just a thought we had, it wasn't formalized in any way.
To the chair. First of all, thank you. It was a very succinct presentation, and I know there's a lot of hours that went into it, thousands of dollars worth of hours.
Thank you.
I like the way that you use the graphics to show us, but also the technology moving forward that we just don't use these days. And I was watching through the side our town planner, Paige Duncan, smiling like a proud mother back there. So I'm assuming that you've been involved with this and have the full support. 2 things at the beginning that you had said. It is like a choice. You can pick one or all of them, or that whole scenario. But you referenced Mansfield. So Northeastern did some work similar to this to get a grant to move forward on a project in Mansfield?
Correct.
So say we go through the next process of picking and choosing, and to do something like this, you're dealing with private lot owners, the Craft Group, the MBTA, the DOT, the Mass Highway. So there's a lot of work. So it doesn't sit on a shelf and lose its momentum. The next steps to engage the public, engage the property owners, engage Mass Highway to move forward. What would you recommend at this point?
Sure.
So again, just to kind of clarify and reiterate what you said, you've got this idea now, and nothing could be clearer than, let's see, about 4 or 5 years ago, we did Hanover Street in the North End. So everybody's familiar with Hanover Street in Boston. And what had happened there was, for 20 years, they had been talking about different ideas, and nobody ever put it to paper. And so we came through and we analyzed everything that they were talking about in Hanover Street. One-way, pedestrian mall only, like Church Street in Burlington, Vermont. Mm-hmm. What could be done out there? And so we basically put it to paper. We did the same thing in Mansfield. And what Mansfield did from that point forward, and what Hanover Street, the councilor did there, was they started conducting public hearings. Get the people behind the project. Get the people behind the things that you think are tangible, not only both in the short term, but the medium to long term. What ideas would work for you? So you've got to bring all of the stakeholders to the table. You mentioned it, MBTA. You mentioned it, Mass DOT, private landowners. There is a plan now in front of you. You have ideas. Start to tweak it. It took Mansfield close to a year to bring it through several in-town meetings where they vetted the ideas that we had come up with on campus. They tweaked the plan. They went out and they hired a consulting engineer. They finalized the plan and they put it in front of Mass DOT the state for a grant. And so to get that momentum, you've got to start here. You as the board can decide in 2 weeks or 4 weeks, geez, I really liked this idea, let's pursue it. And so, are you going to pursue the $14 million, the whole thing? That's entirely up to you, but I'm sure you can all go away tonight and come back in 4 weeks and say, listen, I really like this, and I think this is something that we should pursue. Let's get this out to Paige Duncan to get her to start vetting it through the citizens, have some public hearings, and continue that way. There's always opportunities for money from the state, and that's what Mansfield capitalized on.
Okay, well said. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Do you think the state would have $14 million to do this? Because, who bears the burden of the costs of this? You're going along US Route 1. That's a federal highway. The feds Will the feds pay? Will the state pay? Will this be a private-public partnership?
I think what you're looking at is something that everybody contributes to. So you've got landowners along Route 1 that, guess what, are going to benefit from the improvements, both sides of Route 1. You've got the town that's going to benefit, you've got the state that's going to benefit. So there's going to be some sort of cost sharing. It's just a matter of how it gets broken down and who pays for what. And again, incrementally, it doesn't all have to be done in the next 3 to 5 years. This is a great start, having this conversation. It's a great start putting it out to the citizens. Some of you might get calls tomorrow after watching this, and people are saying, I'm in complete support of it, or, let's go down another route. But at least it's something that we can now put up and say, let's start having that conversation.
So the work that you've done to date, your scope of services is to work the route that you did, bring it in front of us, and are you done right now, or is
we're done?
is
We're
this
happy to hand off to you a plan set,
Okay.
A report. Somebody's going to grab that. You have the electronic copy of the presentation. You've got a report that is probably well over 200 pages that details everything that they've talked about, everything they looked at, everything they analyzed, as well as conceptual drawings on the 75% level.
Yeah, give that to Jim.
There you go.
And sadly enough, I will read this.
So, when the Economic Development Committee was looking at the master planning and going into the implementation phase, we started to get some momentum with the MAPC, with some grants to look at downtown, but we really didn't have a vehicle to really look at Route 1. And the Capstone project seemed like the perfect opportunity to do that. And this is the fruits of their labors. Now it's incumbent upon us to take it to the next step. And work with the MBTA, DOT, Mass Highway, the craft group, the community, to see what ideas they like, what ideas are doable, what ideas are reasonable, and bring it to the next level and start looking at funding opportunities and trying to figure out who's gonna pay for what. But we needed to get a plan on paper as a starting point, because we can talk about the master plan and everything. That was like the seed. Now it's germinating into some sort of implementation, and now it's incumbent upon us to take it to the next step.
And if I may, to Ms. Coppola's point from earlier in terms of funding, when you look at, and what should have been staggering to you or overwhelming was the crash statistics. The number of rear-end crashes that happen out on Route 1, and we've all experienced it, where you're driving along Route 1 and you want to take a left into something on the other side of the roadway, and you put your blinker on and you're praying and looking out your rearview mirror and looking out your windshield at the same time, saying, listen, I'm hoping that I'm not going to get rear-ended by the vehicle that is coming up behind me. And the crash statistics show that there is a challenge out there. So when you look at ways to go after funding, there are certain ways to obviously go for safety funding for improvement. So are you going to get the full $14 million or $24 million from safety? No, but at least there would be a contribution there to make it safer. And we've done that in terms of looking at the boulevard, creating left turn pockets and the like along Route 1. So it's incrementally the way you're going to get to, if I quote the pun, to get to the end zone.
Right, so basically, they provide us the data points to take it to the next step, to make the presentation, whereas we would have had to pay for these services.
Correct.
Through consultants.
Has this been presented to the Economic Development Committee?
Not yet, this is the.
This is the first shot at the town, yes,
Do
sir.
you plan on bringing it in front of?
I don't believe so. These guys, I think, are done with their school year.
They're getting ready to
Could stay on a little longer.
You guys graduated?
We're all graduating.
Congratulations to your parents.
Thank you. No more checks.
So, this is just something they wanted to present to the Board of Selectmen. Unfortunately, it's on television. We can direct
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
EDC
true.
to watch this presentation
Yeah.
and share it with them. I just want to thank Dr. Delaski and all the students. We're going in Thursday to see more of these presentations. There's other elements of it, but these guys are the ones that came in with the fun stuff, the transportation stuff. So I just want to say thank you to the organization for working with us.
Bill?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, congratulations, guys. Did a great job. I see right away, there's a couple elements of this proposal that could actually work particularly with some of the intersection redesigns. And the other element, which you didn't talk about, which I think is really important to note, is that the more that you create this boulevard field, actually slows the traffic as well. And also, by creating the additional lighting opportunities, that slows the traffic on that area too. Because right now, when you go down that Route 1, it has almost like a major highway feel to it, where in fact that's not really the whole design of that. It's to move traffic during major events and game days, but the real feel for that road is it's still a local road in many ways. It's still used for a lot of local traffic is used on that roadway. The arching gate lane delineation markers that you show is something that's been in use for many years. Actually, I've seen it in Miami, I've seen it in Charlotte, I've seen it in a couple other major cities, Denver, etc. So places that have used that have found it very successful, and it actually works very well with getting traffic to move a lot easily. And people tend to stay in those lanes without the cones. The cones sometimes can be confusing to people. I think the lane delineation markers that you create, I think, is a very good option. It is expensive. That's the challenge with that, but it does work. It does move the traffic a little bit better. I think the public transportation options and creating the ride options is an excellent idea. I think that's something that could actually could get some traction around here, because the biggest concern, of course, that Gillette Stadium has is moving traffic and getting people in and out of the stadium as conveniently as possible. And obviously, moving people in bunches is a lot easier for getting the people out of the stadium faster and getting them into the stadium as well. The challenge you face with game day is that people like to tailgate, and by doing that, you may have to create new parking opportunities almost outside the city, outside the area of the stadium, which is workable as far as Xfinity goes. I'm not sure about the other opportunities, because they tend to be usable spaces on a day-to-day basis. So just my thoughts.
So if I may just kind of either wrap it up or discuss some of the points. When you think about TPC down in Norton,
right.
They bus most of the people in. So you're remote satelliting in. It takes how many vehicles off the roadway? And when we're thinking about money, we can't think about the fact that, there are 22,000 vehicles. That we're talking about tailpipe emissions. We're talking about carbon neutral and green. So there's that factor that we're not including. In terms of tailgating, the students looked at this where other stadiums actually have a dedicated space for tailgating. And so when you look at it, let's say you take the bus in and you want to tailgate, you go over and you say, hey, I'm Mitchell, and where's my tailgating picnic? And they come out with a full cooler with your ribs or your chicken or whatever you want, and your beer, and here's your picnic table, and here's the green area that you can use. So that's all documented in the report you have in front of you. It's something that they didn't talk about tonight. And then when you think about parking, one of the big challenges you have today is every vehicle that enters that parking lot has to get checked, meaning that you're either paying somebody, there's some sort of transaction going on. There's seconds, 10s, 20s, 30s, 40 seconds that's taken up by that. So when you think about what they're doing for electronic tolling, where you have your Easy Pass up on your windshield, you could enter into an agreement with Mark IV Technologies to have transponders on the windshields. City of Boston drives around at night, after 11 o'clock at night once everybody is parked, and they use license plate reader technology on a mobile van. And so you could conceivably have everybody park and then drive around while they're in the game, and this vehicle would record all of the license plates. If they've paid and registered by license plate, there's no reason to send them a bill. If they haven't paid and they're still in that parking lot because you kept things moving into that parking lot, you didn't want to slow traffic down on Route 1, you just said, pull in, we'll take care of you later. Then you send them a bill, and guess what? If they didn't pay in advance, then you hit them with a $25 fee or a $50 fee in addition to the parking. So there are so many technologies that are out there today that they've thought about, and it's included in the report. Obviously, there are too many details that we didn't get into them tonight, but they are in the report. And Councilor DeVillis, it's great to hear that you're going to read it cover to cover. In 6 weeks, you'll come back to the board and say, listen, they had this in here, and it sounds like a fantastic idea. So, but they didn't leave any stone unturned, and you'll see that you got a flavor for that tonight, and you'll see that in the report.
Some really good food for thought, though.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you for your time again. I appreciate it.
Presentation, that was great.
Good job.
Great job. Thank you, appreciate
Thanks for your time and answering questions. I will. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you. Look forward to seeing something out there.
A lot of the parents were here.
They know how to clear a room, too.
You're happy. That's easily, it's like 10 grand.
Absolutely.
It's good.
I will.
To us, it was a no-brainer. It was a win-win.
Appreciate it. I mean, traffic.
It's like that, everybody disappears.
All right. Sorry to see that everybody left and they weren't here to see us. But that was pretty impressive. So we'll move on to our 8:15 with the town warrant.
You're late too, by the way. You're behind schedule.
Yeah, I'll take the hit for that one. I think that was well worth it. We'll make up time, I promise you.
Am I the only one left?
Just you, Barra.
Sorry,
Where's your
guys.
capstone project, Barra?
You're my capstone project, Chris.
So, there was one change in the warrant that came out today, I think.
Yes.
Regarding, everybody get a chance to look at
That was
this?
the winter parking
Yeah.
bylaw.
The words here, see that?
Is that on,
Pages.
is it updated on board docs?
Yep.
Okay.
So we just wanna
It's
review that.
Article,
It was Article 20?
yeah, let me just grab that.
Oh, I have
Section
link.
11 of Article 20. I think.
I just have up to page 4.
Oh, there. Yeah, the PDF one blank.
Oh, the PDF one.
No, they left blank pages.
Yeah, there's a bunch of blank pages.
Exhibits.
Oh.
That's for the budget.
Yeah.
actually.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
So,
I went through this today, and I just had a couple of questions. I want to review the snow emergency, the parking, just make sure everybody's okay with that language. And on the sewer service area map, Article 18.
Okay.
Let me just get down to it. The residences on Rock Hill Street, School Street, Market Street, and Centennial Street, those are all new based on the proposed sewer infrastructure improvements.
Right.
So there's about 30 people that have expressed an interest into tying in. Excellent, excellent.
That's a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the original projection was 12.
Yeah, yeah, it's like 10 to
Yep.
12.
Yeah.
if you build it, they will come.
That's right.
Well, that's gonna help support the cost, that's for sure.
That's right.
Okay, which article was the,
It was Article 20,
20?
and it was,
What page is that?
so there we go. It's, it starts on page 35.
Yeah, it's behind all the stormwater stuff.
It's actually 21.
It's 21.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
21?
actually 21 now.
And we're looking at so Article 21 starts on
Article
page 35, and you're looking at Section 11 is where the change is. I think the new one that you see here deletes Section 11,
Right.
which is the parking restriction during winter months. And the AdCom talked at length with DPW during this, the hearing about this, saying, to prohibit parking on the town streets from December 1 through March 31 between 1 AM and 5 AM, just as a blanket, prohibition. What if it's a winter without snow? And, I know it's commonplace in other towns to have this type of, prohibition to parking during these months. they felt very strongly that since in Article 12, the town's able to issue the parking ban and say, no on-street parking, there's a storm coming, they felt like this was sort of overkill because if someone has a household with more cars than driveway space, and, it would be problematic for them for a number of months rather than just one night or one incident. So that was how the discussion ensued.
And when you think about it, Foxborough is not like a highly dense, urbanized area. It's still a residential area that's got some wide open spaces, and the lots tend to be on the bigger side in this community, which does provide for more off-street parking opportunities. And so it's been the experience of most folks that off-street parking was not a major concern during the winter months. There were isolated situations, of course, but it wasn't a huge concern. So the general feeling was, okay, we can back off that provision for now and then continue to monitor it. Over the next couple of years, we can always amend it later on and reintroduce it if necessary.
And the section that remains in there, the snow and ice emergencies section, does give the town the right to say that there's a parking ban for a specific incident.
But there were a lot of good provisions of the bylaw that people really thought were nice additions, and this kind of addresses it formally now from now on.
Okay.
On section 10 of that, where it addresses property damage, mailboxes in particular.
Yep.
The situation that happened this winter where it wasn't a plowing snow and it knocked a mailbox, but it was a plow backing into a mailbox several times and knocking it over. Going by this, the town has no.
Well, what typically happens in those situations is that if the person witnesses, like we saw in that situation that you're referring to, that particular plow driver repaired that damage, and they reported it, and it's covered by their insurance.
But
Right,
he didn't report it though.
No, but it was reported,
Right.
and actually it was found that he actually did it, and it was covered by his insurance, and he actually helped repair it himself.
No, I'm fully aware of that, but.
So that will continue to be the case.
In this
but-
bylaw, though, it just basically says, mailboxes, it's up to the homeowner to fix them.
Yeah,
There's no other
and more often than
provisions.
not, that's the case, Chris. I mean.
No, and I'm
yeah.
very fully aware, mine's been knocked off several times.
Sure.
But I just want to make sure that we are, if it was, backed into or ran over
Right.
or
Yeah, we will
whatever by
still-
a town vehicle or a subcontractor, that whoever hit it in that instance.
Yeah, I think what we're referring to is primarily if the snow is hitting something
Rolling
due to the plowing
off the
conditions,
blade,
rolling off
yeah.
the blade and hitting it. If you do that a couple times, you'll find a way to fix it so it doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So, but I think the case here, if you see somebody hit it, we'll certainly continue to work with people to get that addressed. That's only the right thing to do, I think, in those situations.
Just out of curiosity, did Roger ever mention, about cars parked on the roadway during storms? Is that usually a big problem, or?
It's not, it wasn't a big issue this year, and nor was it the last few years at least that I can say, from my own experiences, but, and it tends to be an issue sometimes when they clear around the commons and in the areas where they do snow removal. And people are pretty cooperative, so it's not a huge problem for folks. So, I think generally speaking, it works out pretty well.
Any other questions on the warrant? Everybody comfortable on signing it and?
Yeah, no, I mean, the advisory committee they asked a lot of questions. I mean, they did their homework.
Yeah.
So I think this has been vetted very well. Changes were made, there were accommodations
Yeah.
made, so.
Yeah, it was a good
I think it was a
discussion,
good
actually.
process.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we need a motion to.
I was just gonna ask, do we need a motion to approve?
To recommend the approval of the warrant as presented.
All right, I move to recommend the warrant be presented as written.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
So, just a couple of things I have for a selectmen's update, then I'll open up to the other members. Number one, anybody who's making a donation to the Iraq, Afghanistan memorial, it doesn't matter how much they're donating, every little bit helps. We've seen that in other activities that, such as the flagpole. People were throwing in $1, 50 cents, kids putting together. Every little bit helps. So, whatever you can set aside is greatly appreciated. And I also want to thank the JCs for the Easter egg hunt that took place. Again, another huge turnout and big success as always. I know most of the kids in the town always look forward to the Easter egg hunt, as do the parents. Let the kids loose and burn off the energy before the chocolate. So, thank you to them. So, any other?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would be remiss if I did not mention that the Newtown report looks terrific. I want to thank Caitlin for all the work that she did in putting this together. It's got the Facebook and Twitter accounts on the back for people that want to see it. The covers are clearly commemorative of the flagpole project this past year, and it's just two great pictures. I think it's got a decent chance of maybe winning an award this year at the MMA. So we're going to submit this for us.
Nice
She
job.
had a little inside track on how that works over there. It's coming from the MMA at one point, so but I thought it was really well done. So I want to thank
Very
her
impressive.
for the work that she did on
It
this.
was
So thank you.
baptism by fire.
Yeah, it really was. So, great job.
Good. Well done. Mary Beth?
Yep, I just have a couple of quick things. I was gonna congratulate Caitlin as well on the town report. They were delivered today to town hall, so stop by, pick one up. Today was a big day. We kicked off the process for our health insurance negotiations. We have to follow a pretty structured timeline according to the statute that we're under. So today we sent out an email to all the IAC reps, setting a meeting within about 9 days to begin the process, and then there's timelines and lots information overload. So if any of them are watching, I apologize in advance that I sent 14 attachments to them today. And for those who can't download them, tomorrow afternoon we will have hard copies of all of that stuff available. So these are the insurance advisory committee reps for all of the town and school unions, as well as a state-appointed retiree. And we'll begin the process of negotiating. It'll take place primarily in the month of May. We have a couple of meetings set up. And the goal is to, create a plan that's beneficial to everyone, using plan design changes, and we need to model ourselves after the GIC. So proposing a benchmark plan and a retiree plan that fit that criteria, that also give employees some relief as well as the town. So that started today. Just a reminder to check our job postings online. We have a couple of good positions open right now, and replacement positions, and we're also going to reopen the recreation part-time, the seasonal summer counselor position for about another week or so to get some more people, give some more people a chance. They weren't ready for it when we posted it, so we're posting it again for about another week. That's going to go up tomorrow. And just want to throw a shout out to Manny Leet, the library director. He held the first ever Library Staff Development Day last week, and I was privileged to be a part of it and do some training during that. It took into account, they did a staff fire drill. He did some professional development stuff. We got them online to using our employee self-service online payroll system, and I did a session on customer service, and also mindfulness, how to, when you're dealing with difficult coworkers or customers, how to keep it, keep things intact. And it was a fantastic day, and the staff, I think, was very pleased with it, and I just want to congratulate them because it hadn't been done before, and the library staff really, I think, all appreciated it. And that's all I have.
Okay. We have one action item left.
Yeah.
Do we have to do these individually, or?
It's the reappointments of all the commissions and boards.
You can do them collectively if you want.
I think we did last
Oh, we
year.
did 'em in the past.
Did them all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we read them all
I think
individually.
We read the.
We will notify them
headings.
individually.
headings.
So,
All right, so I'll move to renew the appointments on the Aging and Human Services Council, Agricultural Commission, Appeals and Zoning Board, Billboard Advisory Committee, Cable Television Advisory Committee, Capital Improvement Planning Committee, Child Sexual Abuse Committee, Cleanup Foxborough Committee, Conservation Committee, Design Review Board, Disability, the Foxborough Commission on Disability, Economic Development Committee, Regional Emergency Planning Committee, Ethics Committee Liaison, Fair Housing Committee, 495-95 Council, Historical Commission, Historic District Commission, Industrial Development Finance Authority, Employee Insurance Advisory Committee, Liquor Control Agents, Neponset Reservoir Committee, Permanent Municipal and School Building Committee, Municipal Hearings Officer, which we just did, Personal Wage Board, Planning Board, Playing Fields Committee, Board of Recreation, Board of Registrars, Stadium Advisory Committee, Town Asset Review Committee, Veteran Services Advisory Committee, Town Council, and the Survey Board.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for serving. Vera, anything?
Yes, just one thing. Barry Dunell, Foxborough reporter. So just to be clear, the one thing that you changed in the warrant from the last time you discussed in this meeting was you took out Article 11, Section 11 of Article 21, which would have put in a ban from December to March on parking on streets from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m.
That's right.
Excellent. And on the on the input of the advisory committee,
That's correct.
the decision was to strike it. And by voting to present it, you're closing the warrant formally now?
Warrant is closed. It was actually closed before. It was just a matter of finalizing it. Yeah.
Excellent. So wait, when was the actual close date? Because I thought the
Close date was actually back in February.
Yeah,
if I'm not
close
mistaken.
date means submission of any
No-
new
no-
warrant
no new
articles.
articles.
Okay,
yeah.
excellent. But in terms of but presenting is like you're done. I was using different.
The document's done in terms of.
Documents done. So this is like the.
Now it gets presented at the town meeting.
Documents
And it has
presented
to get
is now
posted
going to be presented to town
by
meeting.
the constable and
All
all
right,
of
we'll
that
have to
stuff.
revise a little language. That I feel silly. All right, but that is all then. You have a nice night.
You too.
Thank you.
Dara, do you want a copy of this?
Motion to
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? All right. Good night.